Coffee and Head Lunch is brought to you by the generous support of our viewers and the following community partners: Best Court Cutting TV, Bluford's Tax Preparation, Bravo's Restaurant Bar, Casa Samtonieta India Lapa, El Rey Lounge de Versalles, John Boutique Hotel and Co-work, Montzon Brewing Company, Puerto Vallarta Neurofeedback, Puerto Vallarta Owners Reps, and Siam Cocina Thai. Thank you for your support, and thank you for supporting our community partners.
Hello, good morning, everyone. We're here. It is Friday. It is Friday, August 22nd. Cue the Friday music. There you go. It is Friday. It is a pleasure to be with you today and every day. But today, I must say, it's a funny day for me because here's what happened. Oh, there you go. Here's what happens when I have music appreciation presentations on Thursdays. Either I come home and I'm so wired that I can't sleep, or I come home and I'm so exhausted that I sleep too much. So, guess what happened last night? Well, actually, I should start by saying that, I can't tell you enough how wonderful Michael Buford is just because I don't want it to wear out. But after the presentation yesterday, four of us went to have dinner at Siam PV for two reasons. Number one, because Siam and Bravos are closing as of Sunday. So if you're in town just for a few days, this is a great opportunity to enjoy these amazing restaurants. And of course, Michael is our community partner, and I wanted to thank him by having dinner at his restaurant for having been so. Yes, I'm talking about you, honey. I'm talking about you. We went to Michael's restaurants, to Siam PV, because we wanted to, spend some money there and appreciate the fact that Michael generously treated me and, well, some of us to a lovely stay in Yelapa so that I could do video for you. And Michael ended up buying our food. He treated us to dinner. We paid for our drinks. So what I'm trying to say is, I want to say thank you to you, Michael, for always being so generous to me personally. I want to thank the fact that we've known each other professionally and personally now for quite a few years. I mean, think back to, well, the magazine, the ads, when you first opened your restaurants. It's been a long story. And also, because for those of you who haven't experienced his restaurants, I cannot tell you how wonderful they are. And once again, if you choose to have dinner at Bravos or Siam PV before Sunday, you will be supporting a great businessman, a great friend, a great partner, and you'll be enjoying kick-ass food and wonderful air-conditioned service. That's all I'm going to say. So, back to my story. After dinner, yes, I had a couple of martinis. Their mazapan martinis are to die for. So I came home and I fell asleep immediately. And there was, oh my God, the thunder shower from last night was just heavenly. Maybe that's why this morning I opened my eyes, looked at my alarm clock, and I saw it's 9:15. And I'm like, oh shit. I usually get up at 7 or 6:30 to start prepping the broadcast. So we landed here by, what is the expression in English? By the seam of our pants. I just made it. And I tell you, there is an amazing amount of interesting, juicy news that I want to share with you. So enough about me. I hope you're having a great morning. I hope you will have an amazing weekend. Let's jump into our news. And we start with some shamey news. While our city faces a constant water supply crisis, a task that Zapal is struggling to fulfill, many neighborhoods suffer from service shortages due to constant water rationing, and new real estate developments have been singled out for alleged waste of clear water. This real estate development is called Aymara Versalles. This is a 6-story tower being built at the intersection of Aldanaca and Berlin streets on a plot of land in Colonia Versalles. The project has been subject of heavy criticism for allegedly dumping thousands of liters of pure spring water directly into the streets. Residents in the area have documented how a flexible pipe openly exposed in the street emits a constant flow of water that ends up in the drain under Francisco Medina Asensio. This liquid reportedly comes from a well or water table exposed and drilled during the foundation construction, leading the company to pump it outside to continue the work and refusing to conduct a soil study and eager to save every penny possible, even at the expense of the environment. Now, if I was a news program, if I was a reporter, I would have contacted the company to get their side of the story, but that's not what we do here. We simply put things out there for you to know about and for you to pursue on your own. But I ask you this, if this is true and this company is looking the other way, would you trust them with your money to purchase a condo there? And the other side of this is like, how would you feel about yourself if you went to see a unit there and you saw the water spilling and you chose to look the other way? Am I guilting you? Am I shaming you? Maybe a little bit. I'm just trying to raise some consciousness here. Hopefully, the developer of, what was this called? The developer of Aymara Versalles will come forth and explain their side of the story at some point. And if they don't, well, maybe you should consider buying a condo somewhere else. And that is our first news of the day. Let us get out of controversy. And let me tell you that starting next year, Puerto Vallarta will have a new daily flight from California as part of Southwest's expansion at San Diego International Airport, which will open its new Terminal 1 soon, I suppose. The new flight, which will begin operations on March 5th of 2026, represents a great opportunity for tourists and business travelers interested in visiting our city. So if you live in San Diego, you may want to look for good deals on this new flight, which again begins operating on March 5th of 2026. Camarones Beach here in Puerto Vallarta will once again fly the blue flag starting August 25th, celebrating its renewed commitment to clean, safe, and sustainable shores. As we know, the blue flag is awarded by the Foundation for the Environmental Education, and it is internationally recognized as a symbol of excellence that assures visitors that they're enjoying a clean, safe, and environmentally responsible beach. That's good news. More good news. If you're flying into Mexico City's AIFA, or Aeropuerto Internacional Felipe Angeles, otherwise known as the Felipe Angeles Airport, there's going to be a train. There's going to be a train that goes from the airport to the city, making it easier to avoid the high cost of traveling by taxi from the airport to the city. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum believes a train connecting both locations, the city and the airport, will be inaugurated in December. At her morning press conference yesterday, she confirmed that there were delays in the project due to discontent from some communities in Tecámac in the state of Mexico, but everything seems to have been ironed out. So hopefully by December, if you're flying into Mexico City by way of the Felipe Angeles Airport, you will have this additional choice. And this one is almost a tómala kind of news. At the opening of her morning press conference yesterday, President Sheinbaum celebrated the record number of foreign investments here in Mexico, which she estimated it reached 34.265 billion in the second quarter of 2025. That's dollars, by the way. In this context, the head of state noted that this figure exceeded the figure achieved in the same period last year, a situation she described as historic. And in passing, and here's a toma la part, she mentioned that not, and I quote, not even tariffs could stop the growth of the Mexican economy. Boom, boom. In the wake of this news, she also sent a message to all her detractors saying, and I quote, remember that they said that if minimum wages were raised, there would be inflation, she emphasized. Furthermore, President Sheinbaum asserted that the fourth transformation model, the 4T model, which is the model behind her political philosophy, not only reduces poverty, but also generates investment. And I say Mexico is doing great, and I can't wait for the State of the Union address on September 1st. It's going to be interesting to watch. Now let's take a look at our weather forecast. Oh my goodness. I love it when my brain is well connected and I'm able to put out all this information really quickly. And Snarky Weatherman says, by Mercury's speed-addled brain, it's smurfing sunny. Well, whatever. It is 29 degrees right now. Humidity is at 74%. And our weather forecast says we're going to enjoy clear skies in the morning with thunderstorms in the afternoon, a chance of rain of 62%, a high of 32, and a low of 24. Then tomorrow, Saturday, scattered thunderstorms are possible through the day with a chance of rain of 70%, a high of 31 and a low of 24. And finally, Sunday, rain in the morning with thunderstorms in the afternoon, a chance of rain of 87%, a high of 32 and a low of 24. I must confess that I have already declared that Sunday will be a stay home, do nothing kind of day for me. So the thought of waking up to a rainy morning and just chilling at home and being mellow just makes my day. Moving on with our second batch of news, more good news, more exciting stuff. The head of the Sea Turtle Protection and Conservation Program for Puerto Vallarta's municipality reported that they have rescued 230 sea turtle nests so far this year. However, they only have a team of 6 people for this task, so they are looking for volunteers. You may remember we mentioned this a few days ago. So this is great news. Imagine how much more successful this program would be in helping sea turtles complete their nature dictated cycle if there were more volunteers involved in the process. But this is great news. And more good news, the festivities at Pitillal for their patron saint fiestas will begin on August 31st with a carnival parade through the main streets, concluding in the plaza with the presentation of candidates for Queen of Fiestas Patrias. Yes, it is traditional in Mexico to have a beauty queen pageant during our independence. And for the second consecutive year, El Pitillal will also host the gay queen of Fiestas Patrias on September 12th. This is awesome. So, if you're curious about these quirks that have something to do with our independence and the rituals that we get ourselves involved in as Mexican nationals, you may want to consider this little presentation by yours truly. Viva Mexico on September 11. This is when we will unpack all the rituals, the traditions, the music, the story, the culture behind our independence. This is going to be fun. It always sells out, so I do recommend you get tickets in advance. And as long as we're talking about this, I'm going to share a little epiphany right now, if I can. Yesterday was Pat Metheny, and it was amazing. There were maybe 11 or 12 of you present. And at the beginning of the presentation, I asked you if you were familiar with Pat Metheny's music. And the majority of you were not. And I was so humbled by that because I thought to myself, I have managed to attract a group of very curious people. And that makes me so grateful. And then I thought to myself, well, I have also gained your trust. You know, you come to these things not having a clear idea of what to expect, but you come to these things nonetheless. And that made me extremely grateful. And then I realized, well, I'm also putting together these promotional videos and they must be working, which made me extremely grateful. In short, I am so thankful for your trust. And I wanted to make sure that you knew that. You are very much appreciated. And we'll come back to yesterday in a second. Let me cycle through a couple of other headlines. This is also a reminder Mexico's Oscars, the Academy Award equivalent, is coming to Puerto Vallarta for the first time ever on September 20th of this year. Puerto Vallarta will host the 67th edition of the Ariel Awards. This is the highest award given by the Mexican Academy of Cinematographic Arts and Sciences. The ceremony will take place at the Puerto Vallarta International Convention Center, where filmmakers, actors, and creators from across the country will gather. With this event, our state, Jalisco, reinforces its role as a key state in film production and distribution, and this is undoubtedly going to bring some well-deserved national promotion for our city. I would go in a heartbeat. I've never been to one of these, but of course, I'm going to be in Guadalajara enjoying the Pat Metheny concert. Now, I have a couple of articles that I picked up from Mexico News Daily that I haven't had a chance to read, but they're on my reading list, and I thought you might be interested in them. The first one has to do with the fact that Condé Nast, I believe it was Condé Nast, that for the second year in a row has designated San Miguel de Allende as the best city in the world. So check out this headline from Mexico News Daily. Is San Miguel de Allende victim of its own success? And we expressed our concerns about this when we announced this. So I'd like to read you the first paragraph of this article to see if it resonates with you, because I think it's going to be a very interesting read because of its connections to our city. The article starts by saying, San Miguel de Allende's recognition as the #1 city in the world for a second year in a row has put this colonial gem again in the international spotlight. Its charm, culture, and especially the kindness of its people attracts visitors from around the globe. Yet growth, tourism, and development bring both opportunity and challenges, leading some observers to raise concerns about gentrification, strains on infrastructure, and the city losing its very character that attracts so many there. Then the article continues describing a series of interviews and polls that were conducted by Mexico News Daily to get the opinion of the residents in the city. So I find this a very interesting topic. I think it relates a lot to Puerto Vallarta. It might be worth our time reading it and seeing what kind of useful information we can extrapolate from it. Of course, this will be included in the show notes today. And I have another one from Mexico News Daily that requires a little bit of history. I'm going to start by apologizing because I don't remember the name of these people that I'm going to mention to you, but this lovely couple, this lovely gay couple, has started attending my music appreciation presentation, and they are both sweet and funny and handsome, and guys, I wish I remembered your name, but I'm looking forward to seeing you again, and I apologize for my scattered brain. Anyhow, their recent converts, not only to the presentations, but they're also going through the process of getting used to living here, taking Spanish lessons, exploring the surroundings. We had a lovely conversation of how They went to San Miguel, no, not San Miguel, San Sebastián del Oeste, and how they're, let's just say that in my gut, they are the kind of immigrants that our city could use. And when they said something about learning Spanish and how they were going about it, I half jokingly and half not said to them, have you tried Mexican telenovelas, Mexican soap operas, to, and get hooked on them, either the ones that are offered on Mexican television or through Netflix? And then I had this thought, there are a handful of great literary works by Mexican writers that A, have been successfully translated to English, and B, have subsequently been adapted for television. And I thought to myself, and I said to them, maybe a fun or interesting way to get acquainted with the language would be to maybe read a novel in English that was translated to English, then perhaps watching that same novel on television with subtitles, and then, if one is courageous, Spanish-wise, to read the novel in Spanish. And that thought lingered with me. And then this morning, where is that headline? Here it is. I stumbled upon this headline from Mexico News Daily. Made in Mexico, Juan Rulfo. And of course, Rulfo is one of the most acclaimed Mexican writers. And this caught my attention this morning because, of course, Juan Rulfo is the author of the very successful novel Pedro Páramo, which has been adapted to Netflix. Pedro Páramo is, it's been adapted by Netflix. And I opened it this morning and I noticed that it has English subtitles. What is Pedro Páramo about? It's about Juan Preciado's journey to the ghost town of Comala to find his father, Pedro Páramo, only to encounter the town's dead inhabitants and learn about the patriarch's life of power, greed, and obsession. The novel blurs the lines between life and death, past and present, and uses a non-linear narrative to explore themes of memory, guilt, and the legacy of the Mexican Revolution and its impact on the land and people. What does this have to do with us? Well, maybe we should embark on a Pedro Páramo watching on our own, and maybe we should get together and talk about it. That would be fun, I think. Or maybe on your own time, if you're trying to improve your Spanish skills, maybe you wish to read this in English and then watch the series on Netflix. And that would be a great way to maybe further your studies in Spanish and also watch the production as it was translated to the television. So that's just a suggestion. You tell me what you think about all of this, because we are now officially in chit chat mode. Let me clear my screens and bring forth your comments to see what you bring to the table. Not bad for having started putting this together at 9:50 in the morning. Yay. Pat in the back for myself, if I may. Many good mornings, and it's always a pleasure to read them. Once again, Michael, it was great to see you last night. You look tired, and deservedly so. I hope you have a great time off, and I look forward to your return. And nice testimony from your accountant friend, a brother. Tim says, Michael has one of the biggest hearts I know of. I completely agree with you, Tim, and I'm grateful to know him, and I'm grateful to and looking forward to getting to know you better. Let's see. Bravos is the best. Their delivery service is also the best. Love them. Thank you for that, Ramona. Thank you for that very much. Hello, Joanne, watching from Texas, San Antonio. Thanks for your program daily. It is my pleasure to be here. It is always fun and challenging to come up with stuff to talk about, but I love it. I love it. Mary chimes in. Mary Romaine says, I am a huge fan of Bravo's restaurant. We go every time we are in Puerto Vallarta. Wish I could go this weekend. I hear you. But hey, we have something to look forward to next month when they come back, don't we? Uh, oh, I am so jealous. Maria is getting ready to head to Guadalajara today. I am starting to plan my Guadalajara schedule for the fall. Yay. Lars and I have decided, because yesterday I realized that the first opera that is going to be broadcast by the Met happens on the same date as Lucha Libre here in Puerto Vallarta. And guess what we've chosen to do? We're going to Lucha Libre. La Sonambula by Bellini is an opera that I have never seen. I suppose it can wait. We have decided to stay here because later on in the month is a great cultural double whammy in Guadalajara that I'll tell you about in the near future. Let's see. Community partner Stan, who's still recovering from a procedure, Papi. Please take care of yourself. And you are correct. Mexico is a great place to do business. If you need anything, let me know. I'll continue sending disgusting jokes through chat so that you can laugh and we can laugh together. Michael chimes in. This is not the first time here in Puerto Vallarta has had developments breaking the underground water table. I would hope that Cepal is there this morning filling water trucks and taking it to fill communities, tanks, and charging the developer for all the costs and fines to help pay down the 33 million peso loan they defaulted on. Tómala. You are absolutely correct, Michael. I know it's not the first time, but it's time we become more aware, and this is just my opinion, of how these things happen. You know, if I was shopping for a condo, would I choose to shop a condo for the more socially responsible, environmentally responsible construction company? Or would I shop for a condo that is spilling water out into the ocean when other communities need the water? For me, it's a no-brainer. You let me know what you think. Barbara says, disgusting behavior by the developers. We need to talk about these things. Thank you for that, Barbara. Let's see what else. Ooh, somebody's harvesting tomatoes. My wife has started to harvest the tomatoes. We will have great salsa. Lovely. Harvesting tomatoes. I love it. Let's see. Oh, Dev. Coming from Missouri, I grew up listening to Pat Metheny, feeling fortunate, absolutely. And you know, it's that Midwest vision that he shared with Lyle Mace, who was also from the Midwest, combined that gave their music such a unique sound. I mean, neither Pat Metheny or his left arm or right arm, Lyle Mace, who were the brains and the cogs of the Pat Metheny group, they were not acquainted with the New York jazz scene or the Chicago jazz scene. They kind of built their own sound on their own, which makes them amazing. Thank you very much for that, Angelica. I appreciate that very much. Let's see. So Pat Metheny has won over Lucha Libre. Oh, no. Lucha Libre is Pat Metheny is untouchable. Pat Metheny is in September. What I'm talking about happens in October. The Lucha Libre is not until October. We've made plans to go with friends, and it's so much fun that, you know, it's like we all have to go to Lucha Libre. It is a rite of passage, I do declare. Oh, and you haven't seen it lately. Vallarta is losing the colonial taste with all those new buildings. Oh, don't get me started, Angelica. You know, it is what it is. It is what it is. Betsy chimes. Oh, great. Betsy, I missed you yesterday. I hope you're doing okay. Pedro Páramo is brilliant. I've read it twice in English, but not yet attempted in Spanish. Great suggestion to watch on Netflix, Paco. Okay, I do declare, listen to me. I'm going to watch Pedro Páramo this week. I really am. And I encourage you to watch Pedro Páramo this week um, on Netflix. And if you want to have a sit down, let's drink wine and discuss. Let's sit down, drink wine, and discuss. That should be fun. Let's see what else we have. Peter Caesar starts with my name, so this is for me. Paco, it is the same thing that is going on in Puerto Vallarta because of all those condos in Puerto Vallarta, especially Emiliano Zapata, is losing its charm. Is losing? How about it's lost? No, I do exaggerate. I shouldn't exaggerate. Emiliano Zapata is charming to be right now because there aren't that many people there, honestly. Puerto Vallarta's Emiliano Zapata neighborhood is fascinating, but it's become one of those things that, for those of us that live here, for me, I cannot speak for anybody else, but for me, it's small doses, and I become overwhelmed. And I'm like, get me out of here, and that's what Emiliano Zapata has become. Susan Davidson says, "Yay, lucha libre! Let's go, and nothing to apologize about, Laura. No worries." It's time developers were controlled and held to account. Well, I don't know the laws. I don't know any of that stuff. But at the very least, Mary, we can talk about it and we can inform other people and share the information and take a pause to think about the impact that we are all creating when we are contributing to the growth of our city. I'm not saying that Puerto Vallarta shouldn't grow, but there has to be a way to do it in a balanced and responsible way. And Deb says, Pedro Páramo, Pedro P. I love it. Sounds like what I will do this really hot day in Los Angeles. Well, I don't know that I'm ready to tackle it today. I have a lot of work on my plate, but I will definitely tackle it. What a great excuse. Thank you for giving me the pressure for watching Pedro Páramo. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this community. I really appreciate you. And thank you for sharing all the information you can and you do to spread the word of the kind of community we're trying to be and the kind of experience we're trying to enjoy here in Puerto Vallarta. It is such a pleasure to help us all connect with each other and with the destination and with our culture. It's such a wonderful way to wake up every day for me, and I'm grateful to see that it is for some of you. So go have a great weekend. I'll be back here tomorrow morning, of course. Hopefully, I will have time to continue editing Yelapa stuff to share with you. And between now and tomorrow morning, I wish you an excellent day.